lights angles here. I think there's something in the backlash of this thing, so I'm not gonna keep it. I don't recommend this product. Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. I've got a job coming up that I needed a good metric micrometer from 25 to 50 millimeter. What I'm going to be measuring is about 38 millimeters. So, and I needed it to be within 1/100 of a millimeter, 10 microns or so. So what I'd normally do in that situation is I'd wait until I found a good deal on eBay or something for a Mitutoyo or Starrett or something like that, but really haven't been finding anything, and I'm getting a little impatient, so I decided to give the old cheap Amazon route a try, and that's what I got here. So it's a 25 to 50 millimeter micrometer, bog standard micrometer. Fit and finish looks pretty good. Kind of reminds me of a Fowler, if you're familiar with that brand. The knurl's really nice, and the movement's really nice. The etching is on the numbers is really good. You can see that. Comes with a standard right there. It's 25 millimeter standard, and a wrench, of course, to adjust it. Now, first thing out of the box I always check is a standard. Is the standard standard? And it's not. I've checked it several times. It's under the measurement of the micrometer. It's 24.98. So let's put the standard in the micrometer. When I put it in here the first time, I noticed something strange. Okay, so we got the standard in there. Now, you already saw it, what it just did. It rotates on one edge. It does not rotate in the center of the anvils. So, is that the standard's fault or the anvil's fault? Got to looking at the standard. It looks, from what I can tell, pretty parallel. The grinding on the ends is decent. It's even, and it's pretty parallel. So I started looking at the anvils, and I noticed right away the problem. And I'm going to try to zoom you in here and let you see if you can see it. Actually, you can see it right there. You see that bottom anvil? You see the light reflection off of it? This side is high, so you don't even need an optical flat. See, just watch the reflection, and you can tell that that face is not flat. And this dark section on this side, that is where it's pivoting. No matter what position you put it in, even if you use a larger block to measure it, it always pivots wherever that high section is. By the way, the other face is very nicely done, actually. It's very smooth. Is it enough to really worry about in the grand scheme of things? I don't know. It's kind of your own decision, really. And my decision is it's not. So, been doing a little research and trying to find out how to do anvil refinishing, anvil surfacing, anvil polishing, anvil leveling, anvil lapping, and watched a couple videos. Well, actually I watched one video, and that was Tom Lipton's video, and he's got a really good video on anvil lapping. And of course he's got optical flats to test them with, and you know, some other trick stuff which I don't have. So I started thinking, okay, here I am in my little tiny shop. What do I have that can replicate what he's done and get, you know, close to? I'm going to show you what I came up with, and it may be wrong, it may be right, but let's see what kind of results I get. So in his video he's using lapping compound. Well, I don't have any lapping compound that's very fine anyway. You know, valve lapping compound, which I have, is like the finest valve lapping compound is 220 grit, and that just doesn't seem fine enough to me. So I've got a nice fine stone here. This is a Norton stone. I'm going to use the red India side, the fine side. I also have a Japanese whetstone that's actually for the kitchen, but it is extremely flat, extremely accurate, and it comes in 3,800 grit, so it's going to be a lot finer than the Norton stone. And I've used this on knives before, but it wears very evenly. It also has this self-leveling stone that comes with it, which is really nice. And of course, you know, I'll put links to all this in the description if you're interested in any of this stuff. You know, I get a little kickback from Amazon. So I went and made this piece. Now this piece is sort of a smaller representation of what Tom Lipton made, and its function, give me a second. So its function is to hold the micrometer shaft. Is that the right word? I don't know. So made this really quick in the lathe. All it is faced and turned, or faced and drilled and reamed in one turn. Very nice fit, just tight enough to keep the face flat. But I don't want to rub this directly on the stone like this, because then I'll be rubbing off this area. So what I came up with, I've got an old 1-2-3 block that I'll use just a buffer between there. Put that down through, and then that's going to be just like that. So I'm going to go after that for a little while. I'm going to put a little bit of lubrication on there. I'm going to use a little bit of this fine machine oil, Zoom spout oiler. By the way, I'm also going to be rotating the anvil to take care of any errors in the stone itself. The stone is very flat, but it's not you know, it's not an A-bomb precision stone or Robin Renzetti precision stone by any means. So let me work on this for a while, see if I can get it even across the whole face. Alright, let me show you a little bit of progress here. So I think you can see there, we're now getting contact on the stone all around the edge. Still in the center is not quite making contact yet. So I actually switched to the other side of the stone, and I'm going to go at that for a little while and see what we got. I would like that to be the same color all the way across, basically. Alright guys, I'm just about done with this part of it, I think. You see that now. Nice even color. Now I did just hit it with some black polishing compound. Basically the stick stuff that you get for your polishing wheel on your buffer. Now I'm going to take a little bit of, I just did black, which is here. I'm going to do some white the same way I just did black. This is an old chunk, but has some crap on it, but I'm going to use the good stuff in the middle. I'm just going to put a little bit of the flakes there. We'll put a little bit of oil on it. Dab of oil. Mix that together a little bit. Spacer thing here. Go right down on there. I'm just going to rotate it a little bit to break up some of that stuff. I'm just going to polish it a little bit. Rotating it from time to time. Let's see what it looks like there. That should be pretty flat. As flat as I'm going to get it in my shop anyway. Give you a bunch of different lights, angles here. Alright, I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to put it back in the micrometer and we'll see what we get. Alright, I was just giving it a test with a couple different blocks here. And just kind of feeling where there's any part where it feels, you know, tighter than anywhere else. That all feels pretty good. Now I did hit this side a little bit, and I don't want to say that I polished it as much as probably just removed some burrs. And the way I did that was I took the block I have here, this one actually, put it in, and then this is just a 400 grit little polishing stone. It's pretty mild, and I just took it, got it between there and my block, got it semi-tight, not real tight, and just kind of worked it back and forth. I'll show you that from this side. So I just kind of worked that back and forth a little tighter, kind of like that, real lightly. And I really don't think I did much to that anvil. I just kind of removed any burrs that were on there, any very tiny microscopic burrs. Feels a little bit smoother on the edges, which is nice. This one feels smooth on the edges. So now let's see, let's set it up to where it's right, and then see how accurate the actual screw is. In other words, if I measure at 25, if I set it up for 25, does it measure at 35 the same way? So I've got some gauge blocks here that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. This is 1 inch, which is 25 and 25.4. Excuse me. So this should be 25.4. Looks to be a little off, but I expect that. I'm going to have to adjust it. Calibrate it, if you will. So let me get it calibrated up a little bit. Take the wrench, and it looked like I needed to go this way a little bit. Alright guys, I have a feeling I'm going to be sending this back. It's probably fine for, I don't know what you'd use it for, but maybe in jewelry or something, it's probably fine. But let me show you what I'm finding here. The anvil faces are fine now. That work needed to be done. But here's the thing. I've got this set up with this non-standard standard, and I got it reading roughly where it should be. It's, you know, you can use this standard to set it, I guess. You're just under its size. Anyway, but watch what happens here. I'm not going to use the ratcheting thimble. I'm just going to go up snug, okay? And that's reading 24.99. That's fine. That's pretty close to what the standard is. and that's kind of where I set it at. But watch what happens when I just go just a little bit more. Now I lost another micron there, and yeah, that's not a big deal, but I think there's something in the backlash of this thing, or in the body of it, to where it actually almost has two different settings. Did you see it jump there? And I'm not cranking on. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. It almost has like a jump in it, like it's taking up some backlash somewhere. Now it's really pronounced out farther, and while I'll sometimes get the right reading, sometimes it's just wildly off, and then it just kind of jumps or closer to where it should be. Alright, this block is 1.5 inches. It is exactly 1.5 inches. And we can also test that with a known good micrometer. It's 1.5 inches. Can't see that? Trust me, it's 1.5 inches. It's dead on 1.5 inches. And every time I tighten it down with the same force, it ends up at 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Okay? Every time. Same force. I'm not using this has got a friction thimble on it. I'm not using the friction thimble, I'm just using my own feel. Okay? So, let's try it on here. 1.5 inches should be 38.1 millimeters. Okay? 38.14. And I get that rather consistently, 38.14. At the bottom end, the micrometer is set correctly. Yet I'm 3 microns, 4 microns too much at this end. So I know some of you are going to say, well, it's just a micrometer, you have to get a feel for it. And that's true. You do. Any micrometer, you have to kind of get a feel for where it's at. And, you know, you should always, you know, give yourself a reference and, you know, check your micrometers once in a while. I've played around with this thing for about 2 hours now. And I've set it up different ways. I've set it up to where the friction thimble, I can't even see this. I've set it up to where you know, you're using the friction symbol. I've set it up where I use what I consider a good size, a good tightness, and I'm not comfortable with the repeatability. I'm just not. I need it to be at least within 10 microns, and I'm just not. I'm not feeling that out of this. So I'm not gonna keep it. So I don't recommend this product. It's, you know, it was cheap. It was $17, but I can't recommend it. It's I've already had to work on it, and it's still not right. There's just something that's not right about it. It's kind of a shame because that face looks really nice right now, but nothing I can do about it. I hate it because I don't want to spend 50 bucks on one, but you know, and that's used for a good one. So, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I don't recommend this unless you're, you know, into jewelry or something where, you know, you're not that accurate. But I know I've said this 4 times now, but it has no feel. I guess I'm used to good ones, and this is a crappy looking micrometer. but this is infinitely more feel to it. When it stops in the same place every time. And it's accurate at every stop. If it's an inch, it's an inch. If it's a half inch, it's a half inch. So not 2 or 3 thousandths over, you know, either way. So my recommendation is to buy either good tools or old tools. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. At least it was sort of educational with the educational for me. I hope that it was educational for you about the anvil lapping. That did work. That worked really well, actually. It worked actually kind of better than I thought it would. So watch if you're real interested in it. You know, watch Tom Lipton's video on it. He goes into quite a bit of depth on it, and it's much more detailed than mine is. But anyway, I'll be sending that back to Amazon. Thanks for watching, guys. Next time.